Welcome to the Bristol-Warren Regional School District's Future Ready initiative. In this overview video, I'm going to discuss the role of the leadership team, the Future Ready Schools initiative nationwide, the framework, the planning dashboard, and then finally our course of action that will take place here at Bristol-Warren. First, the role of the Future Ready leadership team will be to develop a shared vision for digital learning through effective use of digital 21st century technologies. Once this shared vision is developed, we need to develop and implement a future-ready digital learning plan. Now, the goal of this plan is to maximize these digital learning opportunities that come up with these new inventions, as well as prepare students for success in college, career, and citizenship. Before moving on, here's a definition of digital learning that can be our starting point. So digital learning can be seen as the strengthening, broadening, and/or deepening of students' learning through the effective use of technology. And the point of this transition to digital learning is that it can individualize and personalize learning like never before. So that's really our goal with a lot of this transition, is to personalize and individualize learning for students. Now, the Future Ready Schools initiative is a nationwide partnership. The two main partners are the Alliance for Excellent Education and the Department of Education's Office of Educational Technology. Now, what this Future Ready Schools initiative does is it provides districts with resources and support to ensure that our technology and digital learning plans are effective. Now, first, it helps us align with instructional best practices. Second, it helps make sure that they're implemented by highly trained and effective teachers. And then lastly, with the goal that we just mentioned with digital learning, it leads to personalized learning experiences for all students in the district. Now, the Future Ready Schools have provided a framework for how to design your digital learning plan. You can think of this as a roadmap to help us get from where we are to where we want to be. The way it's designed is that it has student learning at the center with 7 gears. Okay, the gears are just the categories that we need to think about as we enter this transition. And then lastly, leadership. How is the leadership guiding us through this process and also being distributed to different stakeholders throughout the district so they can provide their expertise with the district assessment, but also with developing strategies to move forward. The Future Ready framework more specifically has these 7 gears. The first is curriculum, instruction, and assessment. Second, professional learning. Third, technology, networks, and hardware. Fourth, data and privacy. Fifth, community partnerships. Sixth, budget and resources. And finally, the use of time. How is time used in the classroom, and also how is time used during professional development. All of that under the umbrella of empowered leadership for effective planning and implementation. One tool that we'll use during this process is the interactive planning dashboard. And this enables us to do a few different things. The first is it really helps us assess our readiness, not just as an entire district, but across each gear, across each specific topic that helps us get to implementation of our digital learning plan. Second, it helps us identify the gaps amongst each gear. Third, it helps us select strategies, so we don't have to come up with the strategies off the top of our head. Of course, we can develop our own too, but this will give us a menu of strategies that we can choose aligned to each one of those gears. And then it helps us make a plan for this transition. So once we identify our gaps, once we select some strategies, it creates a comprehensive plan, an online dashboard for us to implement. Now, our course of action here at Bristol-Warren. There are 3 main phases to this. The first is the assessment of our readiness. The first step in that is to take the district level assessment together collectively as a leadership team. This will generate an overview of where we're at as a district. After that, we'll review the data and see where we are along each gear. Now, the third step is, before we dive into each gear more specifically, we need to decide what additional teams and team members should be added. So for instance, in the curriculum, instruction, and assessment gear, what are different teachers, administrators, other stakeholders in the district that we think we should get input from regarding where we are at? Okay, so that's where we decide how do we distribute this leadership amongst different buildings, amongst different stakeholders. The fourth step is to set up a recurring meeting schedule and to develop our plan. So after our initial meeting, we have to decide how often we're going to meet and what the actual plan is when we do meet as a leadership team. Then as a leadership team, that's when we take a closer look at each gear. So we'll take a closer look at, say, the professional learning gear or the technology and hardware gear. That's where we use our expertise to find out more specifically where we're at. And then those other teams that we did decide on, we have to help them access the dashboard and provide their input and perspective so that we have a richer and more effective district report and readiness analysis. The second stage is to develop goals and strategies. So now that we have all of our assessments complete, we have to analyze the gaps and review the suggested strategies for our district. So there will be a menu of strategies that we can choose from, or we can decide to develop our own. But either way, we have to start including that into our action plan. And for each one of these, we're going to set specific goals along each gear that will populate the action plan section of our dashboard. The last part of this stage is to review, discuss, and refine our vision, goals, and strategies, just so that we have consensus and we're on the same page before we move to the implementation phase. The final phase is the actual implementation of our plan and tracking our progress. So once we decide what our strategies are and what our checkpoints are, we deploy that plan and we decide at what point we want to double back, take the assessment again, and to check the progress that we've made. You can see a couple screenshots to the right there of what the dashboard looks like once you actually have your data in there and you've set your goal. So this will be our tool continuously as we implement the plan and track progress over time. That concludes our overview video of the Future Ready initiative for Bristol Warren Regional School District. If you have any questions, please contact me at the information below.